So Dark Matter is gearing up for its finale, and episode 7 does a fantastic job of setting up. Let's talk about season 1, episode 7, In the Fires of Dead Stars. Hey everyone, it's David Stark from Watcher Pass, and I'm here to talk to you about Dark Matter Season 1, Episode 7, In the Fires of Dead Stars, the 7th episode of Season 1, and the last episode before the finale. This episode is coming to Apple TV Plus on June 12th, 2024. It continues both Jason's journey in their superposition, quantum leap hopping excursion. Is this journey worth taking? Well, yes, my hot take is yes, I definitely think you should watch it. I really like this episode. It's just another strong episode that really kind of gets the story moving along, ties up some threads, and leads us perfectly into what I imagine will be a very big finale. I really enjoy it. I liked a lot about it. So I'm going to tell you a little about the episode, a few things I like, a few things I didn't like, and then really quickly go into a recap. So as you can imagine, there will be spoilers in the recap section. If you don't know what happens in this episode, I would turn it off when I get there. Before that, though, I'll keep it vague. I'll keep it spoiler-free. I'll let you know when I get to those spoilers. So in Dark Matter Season 1, Episode 7, you have the continuation of the journey. You've got Jason and Amanda trying to get back to Jason's world, trying to get back to the one where he belongs. And then you've got Science Jason in Family Jason's world trying to kind of fix the mess that he's made. He thought it would be perfect. It's not perfect. It seems like there are some cracks forming along the way, and they continue to crack in this episode. So, things I liked about this episode. The first, some very big decisions. I'll just call them big decisions. There are some very big decisions that happen here. Some big things that are going to affect both Jasons, kind of their whole journey. It had some very pivotal moments, and I really loved them. The second thing I loved, I'll call it longer stretches. I like this about the last episode too. It feels like we are jumping less. There's less kind of superposition jumping. And so you get longer stretches with the characters, which gives you kind of a better sense of what's going on, gives you a better kind of handle of what is happening, and lets you get a better emotional connection. It was tough when they were jumping back and forth. I know why they had to do that, but it made it tough to kind of follow along, made it tough to really get a connection with the characters. Now you get much more of a connection because you spend more time with them, at least more uninterrupted time. And the last thing I loved, really good ending. Very, very good ending. It kind of sets it up perfectly for episode 8. I'm not sure where it's going to go. I've got some ideas. I'll say that at the very end, but really, really good way to end this episode. So all that being said, things I didn't love as much. The main one, there were a couple poor decisions that I don't know if I understand why they happened. They just seemed illogical given the kind of amount of logic that we expect both of these characters to have. So I'll go into that in the recap. So all that being said, Dark Matter Season 1, Episode 7 comes to Apple TV Plus on June 12th, 2024. Like I said, I really liked it. I definitely think you should watch it. You should watch this whole series. It's been a good series throughout, and we have one episode to go. So catch up if you can. Make sure you're caught up for Season 1, Episode 8, which premieres next week. But first, check out Season 1, Episode 7, In the Fires of Dead Stars, which releases on Apple TV Plus on June 12th, 2024. I'm going to go and do a recap right now, so there will be spoilers. If you don't want to know what happens in this episode, I would turn it off now. So, again, there's a little bit of jumping. I'm going to just do, I think, Science Jason first and then Family Jason after. Family Jason is the more emotional one. Family Jason is the more interesting one. So we'll go with Science Jason. Science Jason is back in Family Jason's world. Remember, he left Ryan in a utopian Chicago a little bit ago, and now he is back in his world. Daniella, who gave Ryan something that Jason had, that Science Jason had in the storage unit, is texting him. She hasn't heard from him. She's a little bit nervous, but you also see kind of like how cold things have gotten. Daniella really doesn't trust Jason. I wouldn't either, given his like weird turn in personality. And she is very cold with him, and I think Charlie also notices it. So it's a cold evening. Jason brings home food. He's gonna make dinner. She's not really appreciative of it. It's just a very quiet family evening. And that's when there's a knock on the door, and our old friend Detective Mason is back. She's back. She is investigating the disappearance of Ryan. He disappeared a few days ago, and so she starts talking to them, asking them when they last saw him. Daniela says she saw him about 5 days ago. Jason says he saw him about 3 days ago, and we find out that Jason was the last person to see him alive. Surprise, surprise, right? Because we know what happened, but he was the last person to see him alive. They were drinking at the village tap, and then Ryan disappeared. Jason doesn't know what happened to him. Jason doesn't know where he went, but this is raising Detective Mason's suspicion. So after this encounter, Daniela takes Jason upstairs and shows him the ampule. I thought she gave it to Ryan. I guess maybe she had 2, or maybe she just showed it to Ryan, but Ryan did an analysis. So I feel like she only had 1, I thought. Maybe she had 2. We'll say she had 2 because maybe she gave 1 to Ryan and she still has 1. So she shows Jason the ampule, says, "What is this?" Jason's like, "It's not what you think. It's a neuro, toxic or neuro agent I developed that shuts off part of your brain, which you think would be like, why, science teacher Jason, are you developing this? And like, where are you getting the funding for this? Because this seems like a very big thing. In any event, he says, it's not what you think. It's this thing I've invented, or it's this thing that Ryan helped me with. And why couldn't he talk about? Well, he signed an NDA, so he couldn't tell her when she gave it to him. So it's a okay enough story. It is weird that, Science Jason teacher in this world would like get Ryan to help him and sign an NDA about it, but it is what it is. Um, Danielle also asks what's in the storage unit, and Jason's like, it's just a project I'm working on. Again, very suspicious. I don't think Danielle believes him, but it's enough to kind of let it go. So later, Science Jason is talking to Amanda, the psychiatrist, and he is telling her about how he wants to leave, how he's upset with this world. It's not what he thought it was. He thinks he's about to pack up and leave. And Amanda starts probing. She starts asking, why do you want to leave? Why do you think that you want to leave? What is it about this that makes you have to like run away rather than like work on it? Things like that. And that's when Jason turns it around and she starts psychoanalyzing Amanda. But he's coming from a position where he knows a lot about her. They are, very good friends in his world. So he digs into some of, things that probably Amanda would only know, or at least Amanda and her friends would only know, not a random client. And this kind of startles Amanda, so she tells him to leave. I would too. It was a very inappropriate thing for you to do to your psychologist. So there you go. So after this, he goes back home and Detective Mason is waiting for him. She has another couple questions. She's like, oh, we found Ryan's cell phone tower pings. It pinged off of somewhere in South Chicago. You know where he'd be down there? He's like, no, of course not. And I think she's suspicious, but she kind of like leaves it. She's like, oh, if we get any CCTV camera footage, we'll let you know. I think she definitely suspects Jason, as you would. Jason then does a really bad decision, I thought. He goes to the box and breaks it open, like breaks open his newly concrete sealed box, breaks the door open, breaks a little hole in the door, and goes on in. And their first thought is like, Mason already suspects you. Like, she is possibly monitoring you. She's possibly like following you. What are you doing? Like, you are leading her to this strange contraption. I guess there's no body, so that's weird. But there is this like weird contraption in South Chicago that would seem to hint that maybe you know more than what's going on. And now you are like breaking open this perfectly sealed concrete to, show suspicious activity. There's no sting, there's no raid. Jason goes in and goes to another world and find Orion there. Orion that is like, he's a mechanic in that world. He wishes, basically he does the same thing, although I don't know how he had time to like, he didn't like vet this Ryan. He just like went in there, started drinking with him, got him drunk, and we find out that this Ryan was a really smart guy. He got a DUI in high school, which derailed his whole academic career. And so he, instead of becoming a scientist, he is a mechanic and he owns his own shop in Chicago. So Jason does the question of like, don't you, wonder what life would have been like if you didn't get that DUI? And Ryan's like, every day, every day. So Jason gets him drunk. And then we see Jason pulling that Ryan into his world. So he's pulling that Ryan into his world, closing the door, and he now has solved his Ryan problem. The Ryan disappeared. Now there's a Ryan. He cleans that Ryan up, who's still kind of like passed out drunk, cuts his hair, gets him all ready, leaves him at home, goes home, none the wiser. Now there's a Ryan. Problem solved. Well, I don't know. I don't know. That doesn't seem like possibly the right solution, because this Ryan's going to wake up at some point. And he's going to be like, why am I here? What's going on? Who are you? Things like that. So now on to Family Jason. Family Jason and Amanda are jumping through worlds and they are running low on ampules. And Amanda has them do something unconventional. Jason's like, I think this is a waste of some ampules, but Amanda's like, trust me, we need this to decompress. And Amanda takes them, and Amanda then chooses the world. And she takes them to this like utopian Chicago world. It's wonderful. It's not their Chicago, but it's a pretty good Chicago. It seems technologically advanced. They have like cold fusion. There's a lot of bright colors. Everyone seems happy. Everything seems bright and cheery and lovely. And Jason's like, how did you, get to this world? And she's like, oh, I just like wrote down things that she wants. She wrote down things like people agreeing on basic facts, technology that doesn't destroy the environment, and having empathy. All these weird foreign concepts. It sounds like a crazy place to me, but she wrote these all down. And this is the world that you came to. And Jason's like, oh, so you wrote about the people, not the things, which is kind of a loose jump, but I guess it's okay. It kind of helps with the story. And so yeah, she wrote about like things that she wanted to have, and she found this place. Now, Jason and Amanda are in a bar. They're getting a drink. They ask the bartender about a place to eat. She suggests somewhere, and Amanda's like, all right, I'll meet you there. I'm gonna go. I'll meet you in like 2 hours." And Amanda like heads off. And after she leaves, this couple that was in the bar also asked Jason to take a picture of them. And so he takes a picture, and they start asking questions like, "Oh, how long have you and your partner been together?" And he kind of like stammers because they aren't together, although they are getting very close. And then that's when the couple gives him a picture that they took. It's like apparently it's his thing. He sees happy couples. He likes to take pictures of them. A little creepy, but also very sweet. Look, it's a sweet world. Everyone's nice to each other. So he gives him a picture. And Jason takes this picture. The picture is like him and Amanda joking. It's a very cute picture. It's a very sweet picture. And so now he has a picture. So Jason goes to meet Amanda at this restaurant. It's at the like top of this giant tower, the Obama building. It's at the very top of the Obama building. It is this like wonderful restaurant with this great view. Amanda is completely dolled up. She like has a dress on. She, looks amazing. And Jason is in his like coat and whatever, like looks like garbage. But Amanda, being super thoughtful, got him like a suit. So she gives him a suit and a bag of like toiletries, tells him to go. So he goes, changes in it. He looks good. She, they look happy. They have a lovely dinner. I'm like, dude, Jason, like she is doing everything for you. Take a hint. Like, oh, come on, Jason. But it's not all one-sided. Jason got something for Amanda. He got her this little candy that she mentioned. I think they're called Dares. She mentioned it a few episodes ago. He saw it at a bodega. She mentioned how she like loved it but couldn't find it anymore. Well, Jason found it and gave it to Amanda. So he's thoughtful too. Very sweet. They have a lovely dinner. And that's when Amanda tells him that she did some research also. She like researched who they were. Jason here is not a scientist. He sells insurance. And Amanda here went missing 2 years ago. And similar story. She was born in Seattle, went to Sao Paulo for a while, moved to Chicago when she was 17. But unlike the Amanda that we know, the Amanda in this world didn't have, or her parents are both gone, and she didn't have a brother. So she basically has like, no ties essentially. And so Amanda's like, this is a perfect, like, this is perfect for me. And Jason's like, what? And she's like, yeah, it's perfect for me. I went and using like a retinal scan and some other verification, I was able to get a passport in 10 minutes. And so she shows him her new passport, her like new identification. And I was like, dang girl, like, how did you do this in 2 hours? She bought a dress, got ready, bought clothes for Jason, bought toiletries for Jason, got a passport, did some research on her like body swap situation. That's a lot in 2 hours. I can like barely record a review in 2 hours. So, her hats off to Amanda. She is very efficient. So, she did all this, and she basically says like, I'm staying. This is the perfect place for me. This is, where I want. This is like my ideal location. I'm staying. So Jason hears this, and he gets sad that she's leaving him. Like, this was their journey. He doesn't want to do it alone. But then she asked Jason to stay, and Jason's like, I can't. Like, I have to find my family. And I was like, I don't know, Jason. Like, this is a pretty great place. It's a pretty good, location, but it is what it is. He doesn't want to stay. And so Amanda says, like, well, maybe I'm the reason you can't find your family. Maybe I'm like preventing you as well. So it's possible. Jason wants to give her 2 ampules before he leaves. And she's like, no, I don't need them. And then when they hug, Jason slips 2 ampules in her purse. And I'm like, why, Jason? Why would you give her 2 ampules? She doesn't need them. Like, she's happy. She's going to be happy here. She probably doesn't want to risk it. Like, if I found a pretty utopian place, I probably wouldn't want to risk it either. Like, they don't have that many shots. They haven't been doing great. He gives her 2 ampules, which is a big portion of their remaining ampules. They hug, they finally kiss, and then they leave. It looks like they had some maybe second thoughts because Jason stood outside the restaurant for a little bit after he left, and Amanda rushed down, but they didn't reconnect. Jason went into the box and closed it. And I was like, come on, Jason. Like, A, this is a pretty good situation. You haven't been doing well. But also, if you're worried about like, oh, I'm running out of chances, this world has cold fusion technology. They have a lot of advanced science. They could probably synthesize this ampule and make more. You could make more of these, and then you could continue your quest. But you have a large supply of ampules, so you wouldn't be running low. Like right now, they've got 5. He gives 2 to Amanda, so he's got 3 left. 3 shots left. Doesn't seem very good. He should have stayed here, seen what happened, and also maybe if you did want to go back, manufactures of ampules. There. Anyways, he goes back. He jumps in the box. Place he jumps, not good. Burned out Chicago. Second place he jumps, it's better, but it's not his Chicago. He goes in there. He calls Daniella. He like talks to her. They are together. He like makes plans with her. Like he like talking to her, and she's like, "Oh, let me, you sound like you're upset. Let me cancel plans, and we'll like stay in. I'll put on like my sexiest sweatpants." And I was like, Jason, what are you doing, man? You're doing your twin dirty. Like now he's gonna go to the plans. She's gonna be home. She's gonna like say, "Hey, we talked before." He's gonna be like, "No, we didn't." They're gonna get in a fight. Shouldn't have done that, Jason. But it seems to all work out because that night Jason goes to the house and walks around like a creepy stalker and goes into the house, sneaks up to the bedroom, and it very much looks like he's gonna do something very bad. He's walking around like he's gonna kill someone. Gets in the bedroom, sees Daniella, and then sees himself, and I don't think he can do it. I think he was going to kill himself to like be in this world, be the closest proximity. He doesn't do it. He goes back downstairs. He's about to leave, and that's when his son comes down. And he's like, "Hey, Charlie," and he's like, "No, I'm your other one, Max." Turns out Max survived in this one, but he has a little bit of regret. They have a very short kind of like heart to heart. And Max talks about how upset he is that he's alive and like messing up his life when this person that donated her heart to him is dead. I assume she maybe got in a car accident and then that heart became his heart. And I don't know, maybe they knew each other. Maybe he just found out about her. You don't get much information, but in any event, Max is alive in this world because someone donated a heart to him. And so he is upset about, I guess, that. He's upset that he's not doing as well. In any event, they hug. Jason leaves. Runs away and goes back to the box. Now he has one more shot, and he writes about how him and uh, Daniella first met, about their first meeting, and that's where you find the phrase "in the fires of dead stars." He talks about how like, oh, we're all made of the same thing. We're all like cast off matter forged in the fires of dead stars. So there's what the title is. He writes that. He writes this really lovely note, gives it his one last shot, comes out, and when he opens the gate, when he opens the box, there is a concrete hole. And you're like, oh, this is a good sign. He comes out of this concrete hole. And wouldn't you know it, he's probably back there. He seems confused. I would be a little more confused if I had gone there, but maybe he understands that that's probably what he would have done. And so he keeps going. He goes to the village tap room. He sees the bartender Matt there. He recognizes him. He doesn't have a drink. He just runs home. And I love this because when he's running home, the theater, the kind of the marquee on the theater is playing "It's a Wonderful Life." And Upgrade. Upgrade was a good movie too. It's a movie about like using science to upgrade yourself. So maybe that's also related. But I did like how the first title was "It's a Wonderful Life." He's running home. He gets home. It looks right. He sneaks in the back. He sees Daniela and Charlie, and then he sees himself come in. Science Jason comes in. Science Jason talks about how he was not there because Ryan finally called. He was on a bender in Gary, Indiana. And so Jason had to go pick him up and take him back home. He called Ryan's girlfriend. Now he's going to call Detective Mason. So it seems like Jason is building up the story, building up, what's going to happen. But then you see something else. Then you see a gun store, and Jason walks in and asks to buy a gun. He can't buy a gun. He doesn't have his ID. So he instead buys pepper spray and a knife. And then he leaves. And you're like, okay, what's he going to do here? You assume it is Family Jason getting some weapons to, get ready to take out himself and force himself to go back into the box. Well, next thing you know, Jason walks right back in. And this Jason comes in, asks about a handgun, and the clerk is like, did the knife not work out for you? Like, what's going on? And he's like, I've never been here before. And she tells him how someone looks just like him just walked in, although that person didn't have a brace on their finger. This Jason has a brace on his finger. I went back and looked. Jason didn't have either Jason. I was trying to figure out which Jason was. Either Jason didn't have a brace on their finger, so there must have been something that happened in between to cause that brace to happen. We will see. That Jason was looking to buy a handgun. He couldn't get it. And then when the clerk mentioned this, he's like, so you're saying that someone looked exactly like me just came in there? And the clerk is like, yeah, like maybe like 20 seconds before you walked in, that person left. And he's like, which way did they go? He's like, I don't know. I didn't see it. And so he goes outside, looks around, tries to figure it out. You would think there would at least be footprints. It's snowing. You'd think there would be footprints leading away. There are no footprints. And this Jason can't figure it out. And it pans out, the camera pans out to show like the snowed parking lot. And that's the episode. That is it. So, which Jason was it? I don't know. I think it was probably Science Jason because this Jason was very surprised that someone that would look just like him walked in there. I mean, I guess Family Jason could have also been surprised, but I feel like Science Jason would be more surprised because he didn't expect that his Jason to come back here. I think he was shocked that that Jason came here. I don't know why he was buying the weapons, although I have a guess. He didn't end up buying the weapons. Maybe he goes back in and buys them after. I'm not sure. But so I think it was Science Jason, although it could be Family Jason. Now, what were the weapons for? Well, one thought is it's Family Jason getting the weapons to, take back his home, take back his castle, force Science Jason to go back to the box. That's one option. The other thing I thought of was like it could be Science Jason going in there to buy some weapons to take out Ryan. Now that Ryan is back from his bender, eventually that Ryan's going to wake up and he's not going to know who his girlfriend is. He's not going to know anything. He's going to, talk. Noah, he's a mechanic. He might talk about this person that met him at a bar and got him drunk. So it's possible they would chalk all of that up to like some sort of weird like mental breakdown. Maybe. But I think that maybe Science Jason wants to get these weapons to kill Ryan. And so case solved. Now there'll be a body. Like he will have been back. Jason will have dropped him off. Maybe Ryan's girlfriend will be there and she will, vouch for him. Who knows? But I think maybe Science Jason was trying to kill this Jason now. So that is another possibility. I also was wondering, what about those ampules? Like that is a really bad decision for him to slip those ampules into Amanda's purse. And I was wondering, maybe Amanda went to like a utopia world. When Jason took Family Jason's Ryan to a place, it was like a utopian Chicago. It looked similar. I don't know if it's the same, but it looked very similar. So it's possible that Family Jason's Ryan is in the same utopian world that Amanda is in. And so I'm wondering if those ampules are going to be used later to maybe let Amanda help Ryan get back to his world. Maybe. I'm not sure. 2 shots. Not very good. They haven't had great success. I'm not sure. Maybe Amanda could manufacture more with her, newfound world, but I'm not sure. Those are some thoughts. And also, what was the finger thing? It's possible that Science Jason injured it. He did have to carry Ryan all the way back, carry him into his apartment. That, maybe he injured it there. You're not sure because I went back and looked. I didn't see an injury on either Jason's finger. I don't remember them getting hurt. So that's another mystery that will hopefully be solved in season 1, episode 8. So what I think is ultimately going to happen, I think that Family Jason is going to probably confront Science Jason. I don't think he's going to kill him. That doesn't seem to be Family Jason's way. It feels like he had that opportunity already. He didn't do it. So, but maybe he'd be very angry about this one. I think Family Jason is probably going to use the weapons to kidnap Science Jason. And we'll see. Maybe there will be like a weird choice thing where they're both in there and they're both talking to Daniella, and she has to figure out who they are. Maybe Science Jason will use those weapons to kill Ryan and get arrested. And then that's a whole new conundrum that we have because remember, Jason is the prime suspect. Maybe he'll get arrested for killing Ryan. Who knows? But I guess we'll have to find out next week. But that is season 1, episode 7. It premieres on Apple TV Plus on June 11th, on June 12th, 2024. I definitely think you should check it out. I definitely think you should check all these episodes out. It's been a really good ride so far, and there's only one left. We'll find out what happens next. But thanks so much for watching. If you like this review, please like and subscribe to this channel. It helps me out a lot. Make sure all my new content goes straight to you. Thank you.